Hey everyone, and welcome back to News to Astonish and another amazing Marvel Spider-Man 2 video. My name is Ronnie, and today I want to talk to you all about the top 10 characters I want to see in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Thanks to all of you lovelies out there who voted on a poll I posted in my community recently. It inspired me to make a video on this subject, so this one is dedicated to you all. Now, this can range anywhere from other superhero appearances, villains, and supporting characters. The characters I'm about to list is just a wish list, but it's still a possibility to see these characters make an appearance in the sequel in some way, shape, or form, to say the least. So do me a favor, everyone that's watching, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell notification so you all don't miss anything. We're already approaching 4,000 subscribers at the time of me making this video. I'm so excited and grateful to you all who have watched my videos. I post videos on a daily basis, and I do live streams twice a week, which is on Tuesdays and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I also have a Twitch channel. Definitely follow me there as well and join my Discord. All of that information is in the description box below. Thank you so much in advance. With all of that being said, let's get into it by starting with number 10, Daredevil. Good old Hornhead has been a great ally to Spider-Man for years in the comics, and it's safe to say that we can probably get an appearance from the Crimson Prowler at some point. Spider-Man and Daredevil have been close friends for so many years. Even at one point, Peter even wore Daredevil's costume and swung into the same courtroom as Matt, as a way to shut down public suspicions of Matt's secret identity. We already had a reference to Daredevil in the first Marvel Spider-Man game. In the game, Spider-Man finds one of his old backpacks with a Nelson and Murdoch law firm business card in it. Peter talks about how Matt Murdock, or that blind lawyer, how Peter describes him, stated that if Spider-Man needed a lawyer, just give him a call, then proceeds to ask, wait, hold on, if he's blind, how did he know I was Spider-Man?
Over.
Oh yeah, that blind guy gave me his card in case Spider-Man ever needs a lawyer. Wait, hold on. If he's blind, how did he know I was Spider-Man?
We may not see Daredevil or Matt Murdock himself, but one can only imagine an appearance from another well-known Marvel superhero, right? I mean, just imagine being able to do missions in Hell's Kitchen with Daredevil himself. Also, Insomniac Games, make a freaking Daredevil game already. I smell DLC. Number 9, Deadpool. Deadpool is one of those characters that oftentimes gets confused with Spider-Man. They have similar costume designs. Deadpool is the merc with a mouth, as he's nicknamed in the comics, and has gone toe-to-toe with the wall crawler, and has even palled around with him on most occasions. I'm not saying this is going to happen, since it'll probably take away from the main story of the game, but wouldn't it be awesome to see them hanging out, or even get at least a small reference of Deadpool in the sequel? The closest reference of Deadpool I could find in the first Marvel Spider-Man game are the rejected Spider-Man costume ideas. Now, this is not really official, but if you look closely, you can see a mask that appears to look like Deadpool's crossed out. One can argue that it looks like the Prowler's mask, but his mask does look similar to Deadpool's, just in a different color. What do you think? Number 8, Hawkeye. Ah yes, Hawkeye is just one of those underrated superheroes who doesn't get much attention at all because he's just some guy with a bow and arrow. But the thing is, ever since his appearance in the Marvel films, even Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, he's been getting a lot of love. So I think the dynamic between Spidey and Legolas here would be fun. It can start out with Hawkeye being tasked by S.H.I.E.L.D. to hunt down Spider-Man or something, and then it turns into a friendship. We've already seen Silver Sable and Black Cat make an appearance in the game. The Avengers Towers is a thing in the game, so make it a reality by bringing other heroes like Hawkeye into the fold. Number 7, Harry Osborn. Now, obviously this is a given. We've seen Harry Osborn in the post-credit scene of both Marvel Spider-Man and Miles Morales. However, he was in a tank covered in the symbiotes, best friend to Peter Parker, and one of the most popular supporting characters in the Spider-Man mythos in the comics. In the first Marvel Spider-Man game, Harry has Osborn syndrome, which is in fact a rare heritable neurological disorder with other organ systems involved as well, especially the liver, the sympathetic nervous system. Patients suffering of Osborn syndrome present symptoms affecting their cognitive functioning, psychiatric health, movement control, liver, which are caused by disturbed signaling functions in the nervous and other systems due to functional changes in part of the immune system connected to the kynurenine pathway dysfunction. With all of that information in mind and all of that medical jargon, you would see why the symbiote is necessary to keep Harry Osborn alive and well. The symbiote substance may have the necessary properties to combat those disorders that are harming Harry Osborn. So, rather than hearing recordings of Harry's voice in a bunch of research stations throughout New York City, we want to see him interacting with Peter and company. Who knows what the outcome might be due to the symbiote being attached to Harry Osborn? And speaking of the symbiotes, or should I say a well-known character who's bonded with the symbiote in the past, at number 6, we have Eddie Brock. We all know who Eddie Brock becomes. He becomes a very formidable foe to Spider-Man. I don't feel like I have to explain who Venom is. He's well known for being that lethal protector of the innocent. But who is Eddie Brock in Insomniac's version of Spider-Man? There's a small reference to Eddie Brock in the first game, but all it is just "good working with you," signed by Eddie Brock, written on a card when Peter left the Daily Bugle. It doesn't say much about their relationship, but just writing "good working with you" probably means they weren't close, but they weren't really enemies either. I hope we get to see Eddie Brock make an appearance in the sequel, and hopefully he becomes Venom. We'll just have to wait and see. Number 5, Gwen Stacy. Call it Peter's first true love. We Spidey fans know the tragic backstory of Gwen Stacy, her spin-off comics, and what have you. Gwen Stacy is the only major Spider-Man character that hasn't been so much as mentioned in the PS4 and PS5 game. Even small characters like Eddie Brock, who we just spoke of, have a mention in the games, but not Gwen Stacy. This is especially true considering that the threat that's likely going to face Peter and Miles in the near future. I think Gwen Stacy should appear and be kept around. Maybe not have a significant role in the story, but still at least be a character in the game. Number 4, J. Jonah Jameson. I know he's a constant presence in both Marvel Spider-Man and Miles Morales with his podcast called Just the Facts, and we only got a brief glimpse of him in a Santa outfit in Spider-Man Miles Morales.
He's a menace! Too soft. He's a low-energy menace. Too easy. Maybe he's a weak-minded... Oh!
Hey, Jonah! Looking good! Very festive!
Menace! A feckless, treacherous, unhinged menace!
But I really want to see more of Jonah, like Spider-Man saving Jonah's life from one of the Sinister Six members, and have Jonah interact with Spider-Man by having him scold Spider-Man or something. It's a real shame. We should see Jameson more. He's like a modern-day Alex Jones with crazy conspiracies. It's just a classic. Number 3, Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch. This hothead is a member of the Fantastic Four. Need I say more? Spidey and Johnny Storm go way back. They're totally bros. From pranking each other to making fun of one another, you can't deny that they have great chemistry together. I think it'll be fun to see a cameo of Johnny Storm. I wouldn't know exactly what missions the Human Torch will be needed in Marvel Spider-Man 2, but it could be a possibility to include him in a DLC. Maybe we can see a flashback sequence of when Peter Parker and Johnny Storm were roommates. That'll be fun if it plays out really well in the sequel. This is starting to sound like Spider-Man and Friends. Number 2, Luke Cage. We already had a reference to Luke Cage in both Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, and that's Harlem, the home of Luke Cage. Something about Harlem without the presence of Luke Cage just seemed a bit wrong, you know? Luke Cage and Spidey have gone toe-to-toe and even teamed up a few times. But it would be really cool if both Luke and Spidey were to do a mission together. I'd be happy to see them make an appearance in a DLC. Including all the characters I've mentioned just makes the world of Spider-Man seem that much bigger, and at least an Insomniac Games version of Spider-Man. Number 1, Uncle Ben. I feel like Spider-Man's roots, or foundation if you want to call it, comes from Uncle Ben. Now, you may be thinking, but Ronnie, Uncle Ben is briefly mentioned in the first game when you're heading back to Feast to spend the night in Aunt May's office. You can even visit his grave. Why have him make an appearance if he already died? I was just thinking, wouldn't it be great to have an interactive flashback sequence with Peter Parker and Uncle Ben before Peter became Spider-Man? Insomniac Games and Marvel really know how to tug at the heartstrings, and even if it's not gameplay of Peter Parker interacting with Uncle Ben, I'd still like a flashback sequence of Peter and Uncle Ben having a talk about great power and great responsibility. Let it be said as a reminder as to why Peter does what he does. Let it be a touching moment, something to put us in Peter's shoes. Make us feel the weight of responsibility that Peter must carry as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Trust me, I thought about this for a while, but I think a scene between Peter Parker and Uncle Ben can evoke happy memories in Peter's mind, and us as the players can sort of empathize a bit more with Peter, but it should be saved for near the end of the game. Maybe perhaps if Peter's trying to remove the black suit, he remembers why he's Spider-Man because he lives through Uncle Ben's words of wisdom. With great power comes great responsibility. And that's it for my top 10 characters that should be introduced in Marvel Spider-Man 2. What did you guys think of my list? Didn't see a character you wished would have made my list? Comment down below with your thoughts about my list and give me a list of the characters you'd like to see make an appearance in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I had a great time making this video, and of course providing you all with this content. I'm forever grateful to you all for watching my videos. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on that bell notification so you don't miss anything. Follow me on social media. Links to that is in the description box along with my Discord invitation, which is also in my description box below. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next comic panel.